Last one from Joel is, are you training anyone up to be a bevel specialist such as yourself in order to future-proof our bikes? Well, I rewrote that a little bit, but that's the gist of the question.
My location is remote. I think, Rob, and this is something I think we may have talked about, but I think the best way of me passing my information on, and I would really like to do it, is to do videos.
Right.
And I know that's not the same, Joel.
Right.
I know it's not the same. And not everyone is in a position where they can do it, or have the interest or the functionality to do it. But if at least if my knowledge and experience is recorded, it's there, and people, you could take the video and your bike and the parts to someone who's capable of watching the video and is quite capable of spanners. That is possible. But getting back to, am I training people? I'm trying to, but I'm struggling to find the right people, and young people these days that are interested in doing what I'm doing and learning about. To do these engines and these bikes, you absolutely have to have some sort of engineering capacity, because they are not an engine where you can buy a part off the shelf and bolt it in. It's not. They're just not made like that. And I'm not, without over dramatising that, of course you can buy a part and bolt it in, but there's all sorts of other things that you need to be checking. And for an engineer or someone who's mechanically minded like myself and genuinely interested in the engine and those engines, they'll work it out, and they'll. I mean, I'm not the only guy in the world that can do it, but you certainly need to have a particular mindset, and it's not. I mean, even just changing the oil. Like, I know it's a simple job, but I look at the oil, and when I'm putting the drain skin in and out, I make sure that it's sealed. You don't have to do that with a Honda 4.
Yeah.
Because it's actually designed for the average guy to work on it and do it. And that's the difference between these engines and lots of other engines. And there's cars in this world that are the same. Like there's cars in this world that you wouldn't let your average Toyota mechanic work on a particular car because they just don't have the feel for it. They're not trained for that. So it is a problem. I guess the answer to your question is that I'm struggling to find someone. I've tried several people, and I think that videos are going to be a good way long term. So you better come over to Australia.
A bit of work to do there. Look, that point too, really, it's not just any mechanic, because as you say, any decent mechanic could pull one of these apart and put it back together.
Yes.
But as I experienced with my engine, it was rebuilt by someone I do know to be a skilled mechanic. But he clearly hadn't done a bevel before, because there were so many issues and minor points that were not right that you wouldn't necessarily know unless you were experienced with these particular engines.
Yeah.
And that's why I got hold of you. I was like, help me. I need someone who knows what he's doing and knows these engines and has all the parts and can just do it.
I think that's the difference. Yeah. But look, Rob, I thank you, and I think that's the difference. I've thought about this a lot, and I think the difference is I'm not a motorcycle mechanic. I have no motorcycle mechanic or engine mechanic training.
Right.
I'm an engineer I'm a toolmaker. Initially.
Oh, yeah, really, yeah.
I'm a toolmaker that did like engineering, and I was very fortunate in my apprenticeship in New Zealand, in Auckland, in Hamilton, but I have I have a genuine interest in these engines because my brothers were the New Zealand importers for quite
Right.
some time, and back then those things were failing, and I was pulling them apart. And mechanical things intrigue me, and for some, I just have this thing about when I pull something apart and I look at it, why did it fail? Not, going back to the spark plug question.
Yeah.
Why is it happening?
Yeah.
Because if you look at why it's happening or why it's happened, and you look at it from an engineering point of view, not someone's opinion point of view.
Yeah.
Opinions are good, but a man with no data only has an opinion.
Right.
And you've got to get the data.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm coming from.
And just if you didn't notice, like many great Australians, Brook is a New Zealander.
I'm proud of you.
Yes, he's a Kiwi.
And I was fortunate to be trained by the best of the best from Germany, the UK, a lot from the UK, South Africa, Switzerland, Sweden. New Zealand had no tradesmen back then, and they had a thing called the assisted passage, and they had scouts going around the world looking for, and they had to pass criteria to be able to do it, and they got an assisted passage. So the New Zealand government paid them to come out and supported them,
In the New Zealand government.
where they could employ New Zealand kids like me.
Yes.
And those guys, and look, you can't teach someone to paint a Picasso. They've got to be Picasso or as good.
Mm.
And you can't train someone to drive a car like Fangio. He's got it in his blood. Motorcycle races, and we're all good at some things, and I'll never play a piano the way other people will play it.
Yeah.
So I have a natural ability as far when it comes to engineering, and I'm genuinely interested in it. And it just so happens that I have focused that on these engines because I have I am interested in it. So that's really what drives me,
Okay.
and the commercial side probably gets neglected more than it should be, to be honest.
Right.
That's reality.
All right, Joel, I hope that answers some of your queries and you found that interesting. I certainly did. Stick around and check my channel. There'll be some more videos with answers by Brook Henry, famed Ducati bevel engineer. All right. Okay, we'll see you in the next one.
Are we going okay?
Yeah, I think it's going well. Do you like it?
Yeah.
That's quite good.